So I gotta ask you about Nicci Gilbert. Like I was saying initially, I discovered you through like a little bit of back and forth. I think that was like first season maybe. It happened once that I noticed, and then I noticed it. I noticed when there was when the new season, like the season 2, there was a party in Atlanta. I was down there spending time covering that, and there was 2 separate parties.
Yes.
And then I think in the interview she had referenced like there was some tension, and then I saw some exchange going back between you and her. A little bit of you, a lot of her. Not this. No, and this is trying to get subjective as I can.
Yeah.
So how did this? What is the issue, or how did the issue start?
I don't have an issue. I really don't strive. Again, anyone you follow me on Twitter, I engage everybody weekly. I want to get the honest feedback from people, but I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. At the end of the day, I'm grateful for her, and Faith basically developing this idea and bringing it to me. So I don't have an issue with it.
Okay, but you know she has an issue with you, though.
Be the first or the last.
What do you think from her perspective? What do you think her issue?
I can't speak for Nicci. I really, I don't know. I mean, I can only speak for my contribution to the project, and I know I've done right and above board business by all 13 ladies in the cast. Take a survey. That's just kind of what. But again, I can't speak to her issue. I really don't know.
Okay, so there was a petition that was launched, and she was under the impression, or she tweeted that you were responsible for. I'm just relaying what she said publicly. She said, let me finish my statement, then you can clarify. She said that you were responsible for launching this petition, and I did a story on it, and the guy that said he launched the petition said he launched it. But did you have anything to do with the petition or wanting her removed, or?
Absolutely not. The petition had nothing to do with it. I don't even know the guy. Like, I met him on Twitter the same way you did.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it. I don't have enough time. Like, I have multiple shows. I just had a film premiere at the ABFF. I manage artists. I have an executive position to do a petition to. I would rather just go have a sit down, a one-on-one with the respective party, and say, you know what, maybe we should explore a different direction. But I wouldn't dare do a petition like that's.
That's not your style.
Yeah. Anybody who knows me will tell you I'm very, what you see is what you get. So.
Okay. Did you have you all ever had a sit down conversation like, hey, what's up? Can we clear the air? There is an issue. Like maybe it's not on your end, but she has an issue with you. She's communicated it. So my question is, although you don't have one, have you ever, the two of you sat down and said, hey?
Well, I don't know what the issue is. Again, my number's always been the same. Anyone that, we know people in common, they'll tell you my number's been the same for 10 years. My email's the same. So, again, I haven't received a call or had any meeting or, again, I'm open to it because I personally don't have an issue with any of the ladies.
Okay.
Any of them.
And there were rumors that she was going to be fired last season because I reported that. I heard that. Did you have anything to do with that? Was that completely false?
I had nothing to do with the rumors. Again, I don't have the time to spread.
No, I'm not saying that it's time to spread the rumor, but did you have, was she about to be fired? Was she in jeopardy of losing her job?
What? My only changes to the cast were the two you saw. That was Angie Stone and Natasha. And I don't know if some people, maybe that may have been aware of my Angie or saw me in Atlanta when I met with Angie at Houston's restaurant. I took Angie out on her birthday, and me meeting with Natasha, people maybe tried to put 1 and 2 together and get 3, but no, we never had any intentions of removing or replacing anybody. It was always to add on because there's so many women out here with great stories and they're so talented that I just really think we deserve this platform.
So what's next for R B Divas Atlanta? Because when, as a viewer, last time we saw it, everybody was like, I ain't coming back.
We have to just stay tuned and see. Hopefully there'll be a 3rd season. The ratings have been really, really good. So I'm optimistic there'll be a season 3.
Okay.
And I hope everybody comes back.
Yeah. Okay. How do you before we talk about the spinoff LA, how do you have relationships with these women? How do you disconnect? You know, you work with them, you know them personally, you with them intimately, you know, for how long you not intimately, you know, like, you know, you work very close with them.
Not intimately,
not
like,
not
banging
them,
on
but you know, you are in close proximity and you have relationships with them, but you still are kind of like their boss.
You know, I don't want to look at it like that. I really, it's a team effort, and you know, I may be one of the coaches of the team, but I'm nothing without these players. So it's like, so for me, it's definitely a fine line, but I'm big on relationships. So my whole thing is, I really wanted to genuinely get to know these ladies and spend time, and all of the ladies in Atlanta, especially season 1, we all bonded. You know, Nicci, Babe, Monifa, Kiki, Selena, like, you know, if you look at my Instagram, you'll see photos of us having a good time and, you know, out and about, watching the game, or just hanging out in general. Like, we really, you know, we developed a family-like bond, really in a short period of time, that 3 months of shooting. Because I lived in Atlanta during that period.
So if they, you know, tell you something personal that they don't want on the show,
I don't do it. And one lady, one of our divas specifically, shared with me something very, very, very personal. And she will tell you, it never was touched on, alluded to, ever on the show. So I respect her privacy, because some things are not for the camera.
Okay, because I asked the same question to Carlos King, who does Real Housewives and Love Hip Hop Atlanta. Yeah. So I assume you all know, you know, it's just.
Admire what he does. He's doing a great thing.
Yeah. So I was asking him, I said, so, you know, what if a cast member, he said, well, you know, a cast member knows that this is my job first. So you tell me something crazy. And I was like, really? He was like, they know up front, like, if they had this conversation with me.
You know, everybody's different. I mean, my thing, see, I had with some of these ladies, I had relationships with them prior to going to the show. Yeah. So I really, really respect, again, as an executive producer, I know my job there, but these ladies have so much going on in their life and their world, so it's just a matter of just, you know, there's so many other things to touch on that I don't have to manipulate or, you know, showcase things that they don't necessarily want to show. But yeah, I respect their privacy.
Okay, so let's talk about the spinoff. Why a spinoff? Because, you know, a spinoff, like a sequel, can go really good or terrible.
This was going to go really good, though.
Okay.
This is going to go really good. I'm excited. R B Divas LA, we launched this week on TV One. I'm really, really excited. I feel like we have a great cast, 6 ladies. Again, a lot of them were friends prior to shooting. And I'm excited. It's going to be great. It's a great spinoff, though. It's not one of those ones that's like, womp womp, goes downhill from here. It's like, no, this is something worth watching.
Why LA?
There's so many divas based here. I looked at a few other cities, and even considering other cities for future spinoffs. But in LA, we have people, a city with Kelly Price and Shantae Moore, Dawn Robinson, Miss Chalet, and, you know, Claudette's here now, almost full time, and Little Mo is bi-coastal. Like, listen, it was perfect.
Can we talk about the casting for a little bit?
Yes.
So, why? I mean, we could spend all day on this, but just briefly, can you kind of talk about why you chose them? Or I feel like Kelly Price should have been an Atlanta one. So, but anyway, that's my own.
You know, Kelly was originally scheduled to be in the Atlanta one, but we thought it was better because she lives in LA. So again, we try to keep it as real and organic as possible. But Kelly, again, longtime friend. I've been friends with Kelly for many years. Her husband, her family. Again, she was a no-brainer. One of the first phone. Actually, that was the first phone call I made.
So she was easy to get on board.
You know what? Kelly is just, if it makes sense and she knows it's going to be an integral process, then she definitely is on board with that. But I would say she definitely got it because we have a mutual level of respect and trust for each other. So it wasn't as much of a sell or a pitch for Kelly.
Okay, what about Lil Mo? What made you think of her?
I used to manage Lil Mo.
Okay.
Years ago, back around 2002, 2003, when she was on Electra and that Cash Money record there. So I've known Mo, again, talking about over 10 years. And I know Mo since 99 when we first officially met through mutual friends. So she was a no-brainer, just her personality. And I wanted Mo to do reality years ago.
Okay.
It was just years ago, it was probably about 2005, and I went to him, I said, oh, you should do a show, man, it's on reality. Mo was just like, she didn't really get the big picture of the benefits there, but now she sees how it can obviously help your brand, but I mean, she's incredible on the show, hilarious. She's You'll love her.
Well, she's fun. Well, I listen to her when she's on radio.
Yeah.
She's hilarious on radio. On the carpet, she says whatever. So she's always fun. Okay.
Because I'm over, and she'll tell you, I convinced her to do radio. She didn't want to do radio before. And I was like, oh, you have such a personality. Like, you're a big, like, ball of energy. Like, she, your voice needs to be heard. So she finally, conceded. It was like, I'll try this radio thing out. And we started substituting, for different people. But Mo was a no-brainer. I always said if we did another city, definitely Mo. Otherwise, I would have tried to see she did, Atlanta. But really, she is bi-coastal from LA to Baltimore.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense.
That's why you see her on radio. Okay. Miss Chalet, where's she been? Was she hard to get on? Why her?
Miss Chalet, love her. She's funny, man. I love Miss Chalet. Actually, Miss Chalet was suggested to me by Kelly Price.
Okay.
And she and Kelly are friends. And Kelly, again, I want to keep it as organic and natural. We were friends, and she was someone that Kelly Price suggested, and I loved her, and the whole team loved her. She's funny, and then again, it's Miss Chalet. When I think of an LA R&B diva, it's Miss Chalet. Like, what I mean?
She's associated with Suge Knight, Dr. Dre.
Yeah, she is LA.
She is LA,
She's LA.
Okay, Dawn. I love her.
I love Dawn. The funny story. I was when I lived here in California, I was in Marina Del Rey, and I was leaving while I was passing by this Fat Burger, and Dawn was just coming out, and I saw it was Dawn Robinson exiting the Fat Burger, and we were in the middle of casting, so I literally put the hatches on my truck, stopped in the middle of the street, and said, Dawn, let me introduce myself. And she's looking at me like, who is this crazy man?
Right.
And we exchanged information, and it was a process, and really just talking it through. And
she doesn't seem like she would be okay to do reality TV.
At first she wasn't. At first she was not. She was not, totally 100% on board. It took time. Dawn was actually the last addition to the cast.
Okay.
So she was last because I was one of the first people I talked to, but it was about a period of maybe 3 months before she finally, was like, you know what, I'm gonna pray on it. I'm gonna call my mom, and I'm gonna get back to you. And then that next day she called me, but it was about a 3-month process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shantae Moore.
Love Shantae.
How do we get her?
Again, she was someone who Kelly Price knew as well, but I called her manager Cheryl, who I knew from mutual parties, and Cheryl used to manage Fantasia back in the day. I knew Cheryl was working with Shantae right now, and I just thought she made sense. Again, she's LA based. She's been in the business, for many years and been successful. And I just thought people would really want to know what's going on with Shantae right now. I'm just intrigued by this next chapter in her life.
Okay, and the last person. Claudette. I mean, I forgot about her. I forgot that she had a song and she was a singer.
Claudette's amazing. It's one of those people that I feel like, and she just really had the platform. But I love Claudette. I think she's so talented. She's beautiful.
She is very nice to look at.
Yeah, she's nice to look at. We'll go with that.
No, beautiful, but yeah, I'm like. Oh.
But I just, again, I was really looking for someone that was definitely had a story, and I love the story. Her being a single mom of 3 kids, and really at that fork in the road, trying to decide: am I going to do the music thing, or am I going to go a different direction to really just earn a living for my family? Because Claudette can really cook. She's like a chef.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she can really cook.
Okay.
So in the day she shared this with me last night, because I had no idea. She told me the day I called her, she was really at a turning point in her life, and she didn't know which direction she was going to go, professionally or personally. It was a really big turning point in her life, and she said that day when she was really deciding and just where she was going to go, I called her, and she said, it just was a sign to her, and I'm just so grateful that she accepted the opportunity, and she's amazing.